Hi everyone, so today I'm going to talk about successful versus unsuccessful investors and people. What commonalities have I noticed? Now I'm not going to talk about the obvious things like work hard, work smart, because you've heard all those things again. I would say the biggest difference I've noticed between successful investors and unsuccessful investors is the ability to control emotions. Now human nature is more emotional than rational, no matter how we try to convince ourselves otherwise. You know, we have evolved in the evolution process to be emotional beings. It's kind of helped to keep us safe. However, these emotions, these kind of human nature aspects can harm returns. People who can recognize their own biases and overcome those biases are more likely to achieve great returns. I'll give you just 2 or 3 examples of biases. Bias 1 is called present bias. In other words, it's just a fancy way of saying it's human nature to always want to spend now as opposed to delay our gratification. But if we delay our gratification, we do make more money in the long term. Now, number 2 is called loss aversion. That's another bias. Now, what is loss aversion? Loss aversion is basically where a gain is about half as pleasurable as a loss. So basically, a lot of people are petrified of declines, despite the fact the stock market has always historically gone down. So many people keep their money in the bank long term, but that's going to earn you. That's always going to be a loss compared to investing for a long term, but at least you're not going to see that loss in your bank account. Whereas a lot of people, as soon as they see a decline in the stock market, they're petrified. They sell out. Look at the economic crisis. People didn't wait. People didn't buy and hold, which is a key mistake. And finally, it's familiarity bias. In other words, if my dad bought gold or my mum bought gold, I'm going to buy gold. If my society, like UK, buys property, I'm going to buy property. If my society, India, likes gold, I'm going to buy gold. If my best friend's an advisor, I'm not going to go with somebody else, even if it's rational, because, well, I feel more familiar, I feel more comfortable. But getting over, confirmation bias, but indeed that bias towards comfort and familiarity, and just basing your decisions on rationality, is one of the key things. And finally, I would say always do things now when you can. The great Alex Ferguson, the great football manager, always said, if you've got a decision to make it quickly. Dale Carnegie said the same thing. So if you've got a decision to make, as soon as you've got actionable decisions, make it right now. Because if you say something like, I'm going to think about it, that means you're procrastinating, and that's never a good thing. Let's say here to here is information. As soon as you strike here, make the decision. Whereas if you wait until you get this amount of information, you're never ever going to do something, and that's a key mistake to make. Okay, everyone, hope that's useful, and like and share and comment. If you have any questions as well, get in contact.